Hey folks, and welcome to the Gesundheit Kitchen. I am Hans Rueffert, and I am a proud member of the Gastric Cancer Foundation, as well as a gastric cancer survivor. And I like to work on foods that are nutritional, easy to digest, but most importantly, tasty, because if it's not tasty, you're not going to make it. And today I'm just doing a collection of carrots. These are rainbow carrots. And you can do beets this way, you can do turnips, rutabagas, parsnips, any sort of, hard vegetable, even potatoes, sweet potatoes. Most important thing is consistency. So you want to have all the pieces be the same size. So if I were to roast these carrots whole, this part is going to get finished before this part because it's thicker. So if I were going to roast them in large pieces, I would just want to basically try to, roughly make them the same size by cutting them in half so that they would cook faster. Look at that color in that, that's fantastic. Now, some people are going to point out, like, wait a second, he didn't peel those carrots. I did wash these carrots, so there's no garden still attached here, but this sounds like something you had to have heard from somebody in your life, that most of the nutrition lives in the skin. Same with a potato. It's that skin that kind of protects it from the earth. There is also where a lot of the minerals are. And the nutrition part. So unless there's a spot that I have to peel, in which case you just, if there was a bad spot, you can just nick it out. Not that there is one here, but I mean, you could just use the knife to do a little surgery there. But there's no reason to peel the carrot for this, so long as it's clean. You don't have any dirt on there. So just gave them a quick scrub in the sink under the faucet, and we're good to go. So you can mix, again, rutabagas, turnips, parsnips, sweet potatoes. Just know that some of them will have different cooking times. I mean, for the most part, most root vegetables sort of act the same. Now, depending on where you are as far as digestion goes, I can, at this point, I'm proud to say that I can eat raw carrots and raw vegetables as well. When you are early in your sort of stage of recovery, you might be better off to cook them more through. So kind of, do this to your preference, to your tolerance. I'm just going to season these with a little salt. This is a sea salt blend that I make that has a little white pepper, a little coriander, a little lavender flower, and some sea salt. I don't ever want to taste the salt. Salt actually is an extractant, and it kind of helps pull out some of the moisture. And also, depending on the season, you may or may not need a little bit of honey. I love having just a little bit of sweetness in there. If you are springtime carrots, the carrots might be so sweet that this would be overkill. If you're wearing a sweater in the kitchen, you might guess that it might be a little cold outside, so these aren't the sweetest carrots I've ever had, so I'm just going to put a little drizzle of honey in there. And then olive oil, not to make them oily, but just to help the spices stick and also to keep them from drying out. So I just give these a quick toss together so that everybody gets to know everybody in here, and then I'm going to go into a 375 oven until they're knife tender. So by that I mean essentially when you take a knife and you just barely insert it in there, right now they're rock hard. When they're knife tender, they'll go in with no resistance, or low to no resistance. So then I'll spread these out on a cookie sheet, and this particular one I've got with just a piece of parchment paper, not wax paper, because wax paper is coated in wax, and so that wax in a hot oven is going to leach out onto your veggies. But that looks fantastic. I'll give it just a tiny bit more of my salt blend here. So in we go into a 375 oven, and for about 40 minutes or so, or until whatever doneness you like. They come out looking nice and caramelized like this. Colors are still there, they're nice and tender. So these are incredibly versatile. They're, number one, they're delicious to eat just as is, as a side dish. If you are just needing some veggies, and I typically tend to roast more than I need so that I have them ready in the fridge if I'm inspired to cook. So if I'm ready for lunch, if I want to put together a quick pasta salad or a little salad with some quinoa or amaranth or millet or something, I can make something, either a warm side or a cold salad, using these already roasted veggies. And again, they still have a little bit of a crunch to them, because that's the way that I like them. But they have that little bit of caramelization, which literally is the natural sugars that were in the carrots come out. And so you can just rough chop these. And if you're not good with the knife, you can even leave your left hand in a separate zip code and just roll the knife on the cutting board, scrape them back into a pile, cut the larger ones down to bite size, whatever you're using them for. Again, they're perfectly fine to eat full size. but I'm probably going to use these for a pasta salad, and hopefully you'll join me for that one on our next little episode here. As always, thank you for joining. This is just a very simple, easy technique you can use on pretty much any root vegetable. If you have suggestions or ideas or things that you want to see on how to cook in the kitchen or questions about that, feel free to email us, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time here in the Gesundheit Kitchen. Until then, take care.